Okay, we gotta wrap up every series so we can't waste any time.
Agreed.
Every second matters.
Totally on the same page.
Can't just be dilly-dallying around.
Shut up! And then there were 8. First, Detroit knocks off Phoenix. And rather than show how bad Phoenix was, I think that series showed how good Detroit was. And they've been that way since Phoenix wasn't a team yet. Nicholas Lidstrom has been with Detroit longer than that team has been in Phoenix. But as rare as first round sweeps are, I don't think you're going to see one in the second against San Jose. Speaking of which, San Jose defeating LA. Now this might sound weird, but I think this series was good for both teams. San Jose has a lot of playoff critics saying they can't get it done in the clutch. And they come up with some overtime winners, thank you very much. But LA pushed them. And that series could have gone either way. And LA did that without Kopitar and the deep prospect pool they have, including Braden Shen. So healthy, they're better, and with the prospects they have, even better than that. Washington and New York. I love that they had Boudreau go up against Tortorella, two very interesting coaches. One coach fighting with the press, the other mocking the fans in the arena. Washington getting the lead on New York and not letting up because they know playoff disappointment all too well. Of course, talking about last year, which brings me to Montreal and Boston. Boston moving on from a goal in Game 7 of overtime, there were 2. People calling this one of the best first rounds of all time, and this might have been the best series. In fact, riddle me that question. What was the best series? Because this one got pretty nasty. Chara getting booed every time he touched the puck in Montreal. Subban getting booed every time he got the puck in Boston, which meant they were getting booed a lot because Chara and Subban were number 1 and 2 in average ice time over the first round. One guy doing that after a setback from dehydration, the other doing it in his first full rookie campaign. But one team had to lose and Boston came out on top. And how stoked are they that they get a rematch against Philly in round 2, which brings me to Philly-Buffalo. Yet another Game 7, this one probably the most disappointing. Not because I wanted Buffalo to win, but you like it to be close. But it just figures that Game 7 of this game was the one time the lead was actually protected. I don't know if it was an endurance issue with Buffalo or Philly was just better prepared, but Buffalo couldn't hold on to a lead. There were times, not just in this series, but in all the playoffs, where you almost expected the team that got scored on to celebrate. Down 3-0 in the first! Woo! Anaheim, Nashville. I've said this in a video before, but no matter where Anaheim finishes in the standings, people always go, man, whoever gets Anaheim in the first round is in trouble. Shame on me, I thought the same thing. But it's because Anaheim's a tough team. They beat the crap out of you. And when you can win against a team that does that, I think it means something. Which means even though Nashville's down in their round 2 series, you shouldn't count them out. And that is against Vancouver, which brings us to Vancouver-Chicago. So the best team in the league goes up 3-0. Teeny tiny asterisk against the defending champs. And Chicago somehow crawled all the way back to not only force it to Game 7, but they forced it into overtime. And I think the main thing that we learned from this series and the other 2 times that Vancouver took on Chicago, Vancouver doesn't do very well against guys in Chicago with the initials DB. Dustin Byfuglien, David Bolland, and Corey Crawford. But Vancouver can finally throw that giant grand piano off their back and move on to round 2. And last but not least, Pittsburgh-Tampa. Pittsburgh looked like they had this in the bag, but we saw a few of these in the first round. Tampa crawled back and proved that they could play defense by getting a shutout in Game 7. And Stamkos, in his first playoff experience in the big, struggled at times, but he also had a 2-goal, 3-point performance. What does he have in store for round 2? So for you guys, 3 questions. 1, best first round ever? 2, best series? I say Montreal-Boston. And 3, picks for the second round. You can tell me in the underbar or at this place right here.